everyone over here! I hope you're having a splendid day wherever you are in the world. Guys, it is time for round number 9 at the Red Bull Ring for the Austrian Grand Prix. We've got 3 upgrades fitted to the car, engine power and 2 reliability upgrades. That is looking very juicy indeed. As we are heading to the performance charts, you guys will see in a second, this season is just getting more closer than ever. It's getting closer and closer and closer. As you guys quickly see, we were on the departments for the engine side. I quickly missed where we were on the aerodynamic front, but stuff is really looking good. We are the second best chassis after Williams, and as you guys see, of the top 6 teams, it's actually Mercedes that are lacking the most in the chassis department, which is quite interesting. There we check the aero once again. We are 4th in the aero, and that at this stage is where Red Bull has got the rest of the grid. But guys, look at this performance chart. Ferrari are now the leading team just after France, where Red Bull was the leading team. Mercedes are in 3rd. Ourselves are back in 4th ahead of Racing Point. But Williams are now so close to us that once again, I'm going to repeat what I said the previous episode. Literally, all 6 of those top cars, if they get to the front of the pack, they can lead a Grand Prix and they can win a Grand Prix. So all 6 of those top teams, all 12 cars are really, they are race winning machines. Then you've got McLaren 7th, Renault 8th, Alfa Romeo 9th and Toro Rosso 10th, but they are basically the back markers. There is no midfield this season thus far, it's just the front runners and the back markers. So there's really, this season is just absolutely awesome, and it gets more interesting by the second. But guys, let's head straight to qualifying.
Thank you for joining us once again for today's qualifying session. Sit back, relax and enjoy what we hope will be a fantastic contest for pole position. Now then, Anthony Davidson, you're not getting any younger, but you have been involved in your fair share of qualifying sessions in an illustrious 30-year career. How do you deal with the pressure when you have that one chance to deliver a perfect lap?
It's not so much about dealing with the pressure, it's more about how you approach the risk and just how much of it are you willing to take. You're constantly balancing the car on the edge of grip from braking, cornering and traction. And over the course of a lap, it's easy to get that balance wrong. And that's why achieving the perfect lap is almost impossible. As you say, I've been doing this 30 years now, and it never gets any easier.
Jumping straight to the end of qualifying, guys. As you guys can see, we easily get through Q1. You don't really care about your position in Q1, you just want to get through. I only used 1 set of tires, so that was a really smooth way to get through. And now it's basically to see which of the top 6 teams, remember that's 12 cars, which 2 cars will not make Q3. So it's really got to be close within the top 12, guys. We come across the line for our first lap in Q2 on a worn set of soft tires.
This lap then, come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Just letting Jeff know that I'm coming into the pit lane. And we at this stage, at the end of it, we are about P10. But when I go back out on track, I am down to P14, which I can tell you guys. And it was not really the fastest lap. I knew there was a lot of time to gain.
All clear the garage, please. Car ready to leave.
Thank you, Jeff. And as you guys see, we're going to jump to the end of our lap. And as we come to the end of our lap, we throw the car into the final 2 corners. The final corner is a 4th gear corner, clip the cup on the inside, run it out to the outside, open up DRS. We take 7 tenths off of our time, and we are in P10. The 2 cars that are in the top 6 teams that have fallen out, the 2 drivers are George Russell for Williams and my teammate Roman Grosjean, who actually got bested by Devin Butler. Oh, Grosjean, you're not pulling your weight, dude. Guys, don't forget to follow me on all my social medias. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. They're popping up on your screen right now. So, yeah, we're into Q3, but only by the skim of our teeth, only by about 2 tenths. But, yeah. And if you guys had a keen eye, you would have seen...
Engine fired, we're set.
That there was rain predictions for Q3 on the weather forecast. And as you guys can see, where there's already drops of rain falling when we come to the end of our first lap. as I nearly exceed track limits there on the inside. I'm very aggressive through that second to last corner. I open up DRS and I come across the line with a 1 minute 5.6, only 3.6 tenths off of Sergio Perez, which is not far. But now you guys are finally going to realize how close these top 6 teams are, and basically the top 10 cars. Lucas Weber, who is behind me at the station P10, went out basically after I set my fastest lap. Well, within my fastest lap. So basically, when I drove into the pit lane, he just set his lap time. Guys, look at the top 9 times. I'm going to show them. I'm going to pop them up on your screen right now. It is not a little close. It is majorly close. The top 9 are separated by just over 3.5 tenths of a second. And look who is on pole at this stage. Sergio Perez! What?
And with qualifying complete, let's review our top 3 today. Perez, Norris and Lewis Hamilton. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
All right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
I didn't think it was going to get any more nutty than France, but clearly I was wrong. Let's head to the Austrian Grand Prix.
What a beautiful backdrop to a motor race. We're here in the Styrian Mountains, of course, and they've watched over some cracking races throughout the history of this Grand Prix. Controversy, of course, think back to 2002, but also great joy. Do you remember Niki Lauda's historic home victory in 1984? It's one of the shortest laps on the calendar today then, with 7 rights and just 3 lefts, making up the 10 corners of this high-speed circuit. Turn 2 is barely a corner at all. They'll be flat out through there, a left-hand kink into the uphill braking zone of Turn 3. Turns 1, 3 and 4 are all potential opportunities to overtake. And it's an absolute pleasure to be joined once again by Anthony Davidson. So, let's briefly discuss Lewis Hamilton. There's a new gearbox in the back of that car, which means a grid penalty, and hopefully some excitement as they make their way through the field.
Well, at the end of the day, it's always better to take some pain now than parking it up halfway through the Grand Prix. Let's just hope they can put that new gearbox to good use and get the results they're looking for.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. It's Sergio Perez on pole position today, edging out Max Verstappen, who'll start from P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Bottas, Hamilton, O'Connor and Leclerc. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Weber, Russell, Vettel and Devon Butler. Norris, Grosjean, Kimi Raikkonen and Albon. Gasly, Ricciardo, Daniel Kvyat and Antonio Giovinazzi. Magnussen and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Right, let's be patient going into turn 1. We want to be in a good position for the rest of the race. Good luck.
Guys, a very tense Grand Prix. A lot of penalties to start us off with. But I really think we are in for a cracker of a race today. So please enjoy the formation lap and jam with me. empty top 10 as we head to 5 red lights, and it's go for the Austrian Grand Prix. Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen on the front row. There was a lot of penalties throughout the grid, like you guys heard when we did our strategy. But I think Sergio Perez has got a very hard race ahead of him. As you guys see, we get past the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton to get ourselves up into P4 from P5. Thank goodness for the penalties that gave us a much easier and better starting position. We are trying to set up a move on Valtteri Bottas heading into T3. We have a little bit of a shunt there on the inside. He doesn't leave us really the room. He turned in on us very aggressively, but we barge our way through. That was really unsportsmanlike from Valtteri there. But we defend our P3 heading into T4 now. And there we go. We are into the podium positions now, trying to chase after Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen. Guys, I still can't get used to that pink Racing Point car being in the lead. I don't think I'll ever be used to that unless it's like a full season of Racing Point dominance. I don't know. That's just me. In any case, coming to the end of the very short first lap, I'm still under pressure from Valtteri Bottas. That Mercedes is really giving me a very hard time. And now Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton are also right behind him to try and pressurize me. But we come to the end of the first lap, and it is Sergio Perez leading the way from Max Verstappen in P2 and myself in P3. I'm sure Max is really quickly going to try and get a move on to get that Ferrari ahead of that Racing Point. But we all know, Checo, Sergio will fight with everything he's got. But as you guys see, this is actually Lucas Weber going for a move around the outside of Devin Butler. We haven't seen much action between these two thus far, but that's a beautiful move from Lucas. His teammate is at this stage leading the Grand Prix, so Lucas might have some very solid pace underneath that Racing Point. We never know. He just had real bad timing in qualify. So let's see what that Racing Point can do throughout this Grand Prix. As you guys can see, Sergio is actually maintaining the gap towards Max. It's not really closing or getting bigger. It's just staying consistent. But the problem is Max is still within DRS range. And DRS is going to get activated at this very moment as soon as they cross the line. So I think Sergio's got a bit of a problem. He needed to bridge that gap. As you guys see, I've still got the two Mercedes and the second Ferrari tucked up underneath my gearbox. But let's see if Max Verstappen can get anything done on Sergio as we head down the first DRS detection zone for this third lap. You guys see I've built a little bit of a gap to the two Mercedes and the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc as Charles is trying to mount a move on Valtteri Bottas. He's on the outside for T3. Around the outside. He's got to get the drive coming out of the corner, I think. And he has got the Mercedes of Valtteri Bottas. That's a beautiful move from Charles Leclerc. And as you guys see, Max is now fairly close towards Sergio, but still not close enough to go for a move. As you guys see, still on lap 3. Now this is myself trying to get away from this group behind me. But Max and Sergio are so fast, I felt like my hands were cut off. I was pushing flat out, and nothing I could do was getting me closer to them, as I have a terrible run there through the third to last corner. And now Charles Leclerc is coming for a move on the inside here of the penultimate corner. It's very tight between the two of us, but I think I'm going to have to give him a the space. There's a little bit of wheel bagging there as he forces me to try and turn in late. But now I've got DRS. We're going around the outside of T1. Charles leaves the space. We mount the curb on the outside, a little bit of oversteer as we mount the grass as well. But we've got DRS, bump the car down to overtake, and now Bottas and Hamilton are pressuring Charles, heading into the third corner.
It is 4.5 seconds.
Thank you, Jeff. Your timing sucks because now it's the time when I have to commentate, and it seems like Valtteri Bottas got himself back up into P4. Guys, this is Lucas Weber behind the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton, who got overtaken by the Williams of Lando Norris. Jeez, Lando, was that George? I think that's George Russell, guys. I think I might have been mistaken there. It is George Russell. And now Lucas Weber is mounting a move on Lewis Hamilton. Come on, Lucas. Guys, remember, Lewis Hamilton is the championship leader. This, to me, it's music to my ears. It's eye candy to see Lewis dropping back. I wonder if Lewis has got a problem with his car. I actually hope so, because that's going to make my championship fight much easier. But also, Max Verstappen is pressuring Sergio Perez for the win. So it's a win-lose situation at this moment. As you guys see, I'm still under pressure from Valtteri Bottas and Charles Leclerc. And now we're heading on to the home straight. I think we're starting lap number 6 now. and now Charles wants to try and get back at Valtteri. Every time these guys fight, I have the opportunity to get away from them, but the Mercedes and the Ferrari are just so fast. As soon as we get to Sector 3, where they have basically the speed on me, they just close back up to me. And guys, finally we jump to Max Verstappen, who has got the move, sized up here on Sergio Perez, heading into T3 the very next lap. There is absolutely nothing that Sergio can do, and Max is ahead of Sergio even before they go into the corner. And that is Max Verstappen, the new leader of the Austrian Grand Prix. And as you guys see now, I'm still under pressure. I'm not even gonna say I'm still under pressure. You guys can see I'm under immense pressure from Valtteri Bottas and Charles Leclerc, and even Lucas Weber is trying to join the fray here. So it's really very nip and tuck for me, as Valtteri is now back up into P4. But now there's Lucas Weber who's trying to join this fight, and these two should not take Lucas Weber lightly. I think if they take Lucas Weber lightly, this is gonna be a very bad session for Charles and Valtteri. Heading into T3, guys, it is Charles around the outside of Valtteri on the inside. Valtteri mounts the curb on the inside, but Charles has got the drive on the outside. There we go. I want them to battle as much as possible, because then I can get away from them. But as you guys see, as soon as we head through Sector 3, I am back under pressure. I just don't have the speed that these guys have through Sector 3. And I'm trying to make my soft tires last long, so I can go onto mediums to finish this Grand Prix and not the hard compound tires. And as you guys see, we head to the end. I think this is lap 12. And finally, I am diving it into the pit lane. I've eked out it long enough on these soft tires, and now I'm going to be able to go to the end of the Grand Prix on a set of mediums. I am followed by Lucas Weber into the pit lane. Hopefully, we get out ahead of him. It's going to be Haas mechanics versus Racing Point mechanics. Medium strapped on. I'm out of the pit lane, and we are ahead of Lucas Weber, who is actually going onto the hard compound tires. So Racing Point don't think their car has the pace to make it to the end on the mediums. That is actually very interesting indeed. But I don't mind. That means I'm going to have the pace over Lucas. Hopefully Lucas did not just ruin his own Grand Prix. That's just what I'm hoping for Lucas's sake. But as you guys see, now we head to the end. I can't really see what lap it is, but this is Max Verstappen diving it into the pit lane from the lead of the Grand Prix, and I'm sure Sergio Perez will follow him. I think Racing Point just told Sergio, do everything that Max does and you will bank P2. I think that's what Racing Point honestly told Sergio. As Max gets held up just a little bit by Sergio, not the end of the world. Sergio comes in, straps on. He's actually got the pace to go on to a set of mediums. But I think that's because Sergio was in clean air. I think that's where the difference came in. But there's Lewis Hamilton as well diving into the pit lane, as well as Lando Norris, the man who qualified in P2 and who is not having the best Austrian Grand Prix. That is the least said about that. There he goes out of his pit box. And now we are jumping onto the POV of Charles Leclerc to see if he has done enough on the overcut to get ahead of me. There's Max Verstappen right behind him, blasting past to take back the lead of the Austrian Grand Prix. There goes Charles into the pit lane, and he is followed by Valtteri Bottas. So guys, I need to hope that I have done enough to get myself ahead of these two. Otherwise, I'm in a big pickle here. So let's wait and see if we will be able to see ourselves blasting past these two guys. We're gonna look to the outside right now. There I am, guys. I'm on the outside heading through T1, and I have done enough to stay ahead of Charles Leclerc and Valtteri Bottas. That is what I was going for. And actually, Lucas Weber has gotten ahead of Valtteri Bottas. Lewis has jumped Valtteri. Wow. Okay, so the undercut worked. A treat for Lewis Hamilton as well. So wow, this third to about 8th place is really a very interesting group of cars. So we'll see what we can go do here. But the bad news for Lucas is Lucas Weber is the only one on the hard compound tires. Literally everybody else is on the mediums. I just don't know why Lucas must really have destroyed that first set of soft compound tires if he really had to go onto mediums, or he's just got a real bad chassis underneath him. But then you look back at Sergio Perez's car, and he's actually got a very good chassis underneath him. He qualified on pole and was able to go to the medium. So I honestly don't know. As we make an absolutely beautiful switchback move on Charles Leclerc. I wouldn't say I schooled him, but I completely caught Charles off guard there. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. That was a real good move from myself. Damn, that was purdy. That was real purdy. Now you guys see heading into the third sector again. Lucas is still on the back of us. But as soon as Lewis and Valtteri catch up to him, basically we're gonna leave him for dry, because then they're gonna help me and Charles push away. So I don't think the hard tires was the best choice for the Racing Point and for Lucas Weber. I would rather have let him had like the last 5 laps. I would have had him struggle a bit with grip. But that tire strategy really, it baffles me. Because he came in the same lap as I did and he still went onto the Haas. So, yeah. But as you guys can see, Charles Leclerc is fighting like a madman. And now Lucas Weber has joined the fray. And the Mercedes are getting ever so close, as well as one of the Williams cars in the background. We are 3 wide heading into the 3rd corner. I am basically on the outside, Lucas on the inside, Charles in the middle. And now as we open up DRS, you guys can see that me and Lucas are the ones that have DRS. I'm going for a move on the inside of Charles Leclerc. It's a very late dive. I run a bit wide. It's very tight through there. But luckily I get my car just ahead of Charles. Now we jump into the POV of Lucas Weber, guys. He is under pressure from the 2 Mercedes, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just quickly see here, because it seems like, no, actually he's trying to get around Charles Leclerc. And now the 2 Mercedes and the Williams. Is it Lando Norris or George Russell? I think it's actually Lando, who has actually had a very nice opportunity there. The pit stop, as you guys see, the 3 Mercedes powered cars, the 2 Silver Arrows and the Racing Point of Lucas Weber go 3 wide into the 3rd corner. I've gotten myself a tiny gap to these guys. But now this is where what I was talking about with Lucas Weber's tire choice, guys. Now he's gonna fall like a boulder underwater. There's nothing he's going to be able to do. He's not going to have the grip in Sector 3, and he's just really gonna drop like a stone. But let's run to the top 10, guys. It is Max Verstappen leading the way with a very, very solid gap on Sergio Perez in P2. I just don't think the Racing Point has got the pace of the Ferrari just yet, but Sergio is really driving an absolutely fantastic race. It is myself in P3, trying to get away from this group where it is actually Charles Leclerc battling. Is it Lewis now in P? No, it's actually, yes, it is Lewis in P5. Valtteri Bottas P6, Lucas Weber P7, Lando Norris P8, P9 it is Sebastian Vettel, and P10 it is the Alfa Romeo of Kimi Raikkonen. There's the second Red Bull of Pierre Gasly. Red Bull are having an absolute, I don't even know what to say, they're having an absolute atrocity here at their home Grand Prix in Austria at the Red Bull Ring. So this is really sad from Red Bull's side. I think the fans are majorly disappointed when it comes to their favorite team, but they will not be disappointed with the absolute awesome racing that is going on here around the Red Bull Ring circuit. As you guys see now, Lewis Hamilton is trying to make a move here on Charles Leclerc. Lewis has really come back into form with this Grand Prix after he was overtaken in the beginning phases of the Grand Prix by the Racing Point of Lucas Weber and the Williams of George Russell. Lewis has really put his foot down, and now the championship leader is really pushing like an absolutely crazy person. As you guys see, he eventually catches up to me, and now I've really got to know my game, guys. Heading into T1, I'm on the inside, Lewis is on the outside. I give him a bit of a squeeze, and now he has got Charles Leclerc for company, as well as his teammate Valtteri Bottas. But I think Charles has got to have the run on Lewis as we head up the hill into the third corner. Blah, 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 this dumb tongue of mine. Stop twisting. In any case, it's Charles Leclerc now back up into P4. Guys, remember, this is for the final podium position. So these guys are going to be fighting very hard. Charles Leclerc goes around the outside, heading into the final 2 corners. I have the inside line, but Charles is going to have the drive as he runs a little bit wide going into the second to last corner. And now I still defend from him. Guys, I'm defending as if my life is depending on it. And now we've got Valtteri Bottas mounting a move on Lewis Hamilton and even going for Charles. That's a massive dive up the inside from Valtteri Bottas. Very opportunistic. And now heading up the hill once again all the way to turn 3. It is now Charles Leclerc ahead of Valtteri Bottas. And Lewis has fallen down to P6. So I'm sure Lewis is not going to be very pleased with that. But we've still got a fair bit to go. And I do not think Lewis, Valtteri or Charles are going to give each other an inch, let alone give me an inch as soon as they catch up back to me. As you guys see now, it is Valtteri tucked up right underneath my gearbox. And he's going, mounting a move, heading into T1. There's a lockup from Valtteri. You heard the tire squeal. And now he is going to be under pressure once again from his teammate and Charles Leclerc. These 3 guys are fighting as if it's the final race in Abu Dhabi and the World Championship is on the line. And we're only at round 9 of the season. Yeah, just get that into your head. We've still got 12 rounds to go. this season, and they are fighting like this. This is absolutely crazy, but there we go. It is Charles back up into P4. I think Charles just wants to get on the podium to make it a double Ferrari podium, because at this stage, it's the Ferrari of Max Verstappen, the racing points of Sergio Perez, and the Haas of me. Of mine. Yes, of mine. Oh, my grammar is so bad the past few videos, guys. Please excuse me. But in any case, it is still a very, very, very hard fight, to say the least. And now Charles goes around the outside. He completely schools me heading into the final few corners. As you guys see, I'm late into the brakes and I run wide. And now, heading onto the home straight alongside the pit lane, it is us who's got DRS, but we are under pressure from Valtteri Bottas behind us. You guys see I take the esports line heading into the first corner, so I've got the run on Max coming out of the corner. Now we've got DRS, and this is a very long run up the hill towards turn 3. So I think my Haas will have the speed thanks to the engine upgrade that we have brought here with us to Austria. It is a very tight squeeze there through the third corner, but we will still have DRS as we come out of the third quarter, so that takes us back up into P3. And actually, I don't understand why these guys just can't get the move done on me. I'm not really driving dirty at all, and we have got 7 laps to go. We start lap 30 of 36, and now, yeah, these guys, they get past me, but they can't get away from me. And that was, for me, that was really very soothing, because actually that means that this horse has got a lot more pace than I think it has got. So guys, we've got 6.5 laps to go. It is Turbocharged 51 v Charles Leclerc v Valtteri Bottas v Lewis Hamilton. We have left Sergio Perez. We have left Lucas Weber, Lando Norris, and actually the Red Bull of Sebastian Vettel for dead. And now it is just us fighting for the final podium position. As you guys see, through Sector 3, I just can't get away from them. And you guys can see I take very solid and fast lines through here, but nothing I do gets me to get away from them. So I was really baffled about my car's pace in Sector 3. But in any case, as you guys see, we are still fighting very hard. I'm defending P3 very, very solidly. And now it is the two Mercedes pressuring the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc as we start lap 31 of 36. Guys, just a quick sip of water. Give me a few seconds. There we go. I am completely fine now. Oh, guys. At this stage, it is so hot in South Africa, and with this commentating, your throat dries up really quickly. So excuse the water breaks within the videos, these past few videos, but I can't go without it. I will just completely pass out. As you guys see, now me and Charles Leclerc have made a tiny gap to the two Mercedes, but it's because they are fighting very hard. And as soon as I hold Charles up once again heading through the Sector 3, they are going to be back underneath our gearboxes as Charles goes for a major move around the outside! Oh my soul! I gave Charles a bit of a squeeze there. I did not expect him. The next moment he was just there. That was an absolutely astonishing move from Charles Leclerc as now once again he's going for the move around the outside of the second to last corner. It's a very tight line through there, and the guy on the outside will always run wide. There's just no two ways about it. So now you guys can see the Mercedes are once again tucked up underneath our gearboxes as we are on the POV of Valtteri Bottas as he sees that me and Charles fighting very hard. And now you guys can see Valtteri is actually pushing like an absolute stabbed rat, and he is really trying to get past us. It might be a 3-wide moment once again here, heading in to the third quarter. Yes, it is Mercedes v Ferrari v Haas, as I have very late onto the brakes and I outbrake the Ferrari and the Mercedes, and now it's a drag race. Oh, well, it was almost a drag race between Charles and Valtteri. Valtteri goes for the move around the outside, and actually I am baffled by Lewis just sitting behind him and just scoping out the situation. I think Lewis is waiting for one of us to make a mistake, and then he wants to pounce. But Lewis is running out of time, guys. We are on lap 32. Almost got to start lap 33, and there's only 36 laps in total. So let's actually see what's going to happen here, because Lewis is having a look now on Valtteri heading into the second to last corner, but he still backs out of it. Guys, keep an eye on Lewis Hamilton. Lewis is playing this very, very firmly. As we start lap 33, we jump onto the POV of Lewis Hamilton. Charles goes defensive to defend from Valtteri. And now, heading up the hill once again, you guys see I immediately go to the inside line to break the slipstream. Valtteri is side by side with Charles Leclerc heading up the hill. heading into T3. It is a very, very, very close line through there. There we go. Valtteri shoves Charles onto the outside curb. And still Lewis is just hanging behind, checking out the scenery, having a good time. And there we go. Valtteri is now up into P4. Oh, will Valtteri be able to do anything to get past me? I'm just really driving a solid race. I'm not making any mistakes. I'm really driving a very smart race indeed. As you guys see here, oh, that's actually a mistake from my side. Heading through sector 3. So that is not what I need to do to have a good race here. And as you guys see, Valtteri is in my slipstream, but Charles is around the outside. It's a very tight line today. He outbreaks Valtteri and gets himself back up into P4. That mistake, basically, when I held up Valtteri, it cost Valtteri P4. So I do not think Mercedes are liking me at this moment, but I think Ferrari even less, because Ferrari are they're my senior team, and I am busy fighting with one of their drivers as if there's no tomorrow. Guys, we've got yellow flags. That's a Mercedes dot. Guys, is it Hamilton or is it Bottas? It has to be Bottas because Hamilton is up on the left-hand side. Valtteri Bottas is out of the session. No! It is an absolute travesty for Valtteri Bottas. Let's watch the replay, guys. Heading into T1. Valtteri's car still running smoothly through T1. And then all of a sudden, there's just no power. Oh, my soul. Guys, that is absolute heartbreak for Valtteri Bottas, who is a contender in this championship, remember. So this can be a massive blow towards Valtteri Bottas' championship. Yeah, one like equals one prayer for Valtteri, guys. I really enjoyed the battle, but now it is myself, Charles Leclerc. And as you guys see, Lewis is closing us down. And I think now Lewis is, as it's hammer time for Lewis. As we start the second to last lap 35 of 36. It is myself, Charles Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton fighting like absolute crazy people. What is going to happen this Grand Prix? Charles tries to dive out of my slipstream, but I've got DRS. And now Lewis Hamilton tucks him underneath my slipstream with DRS as he tries to go around the outside of Charles Leclerc. But Charles is having none of it. It's too wide heading through this very next section. I have a little bit of a gap, so I'm safe heading into the next corner, into T4. But now Lewis has gotten ahead of Charles, and I think Lewis he has picked this opportunity absolutely perfect. But the question still stands, can Lewis Hamilton get past me? That is the question that everybody is asking, because not Valtteri or Charles could have got past me, and Lewis was at a stage behind me and he couldn't get past me. So with the epic music cued, let's see what we can do as we're heading to the final two corners for the final two times. Lewis goes for a dive on the inside, heading to the final corner. I think I'm going to leave Lewis the space to have the DRS. Guys, we start the final lap of the Austrian Grand Prix. I go to the inside of Lewis. I've got the speed. Heading into T1, I take a very aggressive line to the outside. Lewis is back on the inside, but I leave him the space. But now it is Lewis v Charles Leclerc. That is absolutely nuts. I think I've got the gap that I need to finish at P3. But what about P4? Will it be Charles? Will it be Lewis? Oh my soul. Lewis Hamilton, the leader in the championship, is not having the best race. He's not having the race that he would have wanted. But it is Lewis in P4. Charles doesn't seem to have the speed. It seems like he's used up all his CRS and all his fuel. Lewis goes defensive for safety reasons. Lewis is definitely in P4. Max Verstappen has won the Grand Prix. He has dominated most of this Grand Prix. Sergio Perez takes an absolutely magnificent podium for Racing Point. But can I hold on to P3? Lewis has still got a chance heading into the final two corners, but I don't think he's close enough. He's not close enough, guys. Yes! 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 The two final corners, and we have driven an absolutely sensational race as we take P3 in Austria!
Themselves apart today.
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that looked it of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
Here come our winners now. A thrilling race and a tremendous effort by Ferrari. Their history is well known, so it's no surprise to fans the world over to see them come out on top once again. Let's see how the driver standings have changed. This result narrows the gap between our championship leader and the rest of the standings. Let's focus on the driver of the day. Anthony Davidson, who do you pick?
It's got to be Lando Norris, hasn't it? Smooth, confident and assured. I've got no doubt that he and his team are going to be over the moon with his performance today.
Let's move on to the constructors. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Guys, what an Austrian Grand Prix. After the absolute rollercoaster ride of France, Austria really provided just such an exceptional race. Oh my gosh, guys, I'm out of breath. Red Bull were absolutely nowhere. I do not know what happened to Red Bull, but Red Bull really had a very, very bad weekend. And Red Bull have really got to go back to the drawing board and see what they can come up with, because this really was just a very, very disappointing to say the least. But yeah, let's see what Emma has to say.
Just wanted to say congrats on the podium. It's thoroughly deserved. We were sweating those last few laps on the pit wall, but you brought it home.
Or Jeff, and I can completely understand why I gave you guys a reason to sweat on the pit wall, because that was absolutely crazy, guys. That was crazy. But guys, that has been this episode for the Austrian Grand Prix only round number 9, guys, and you guys can see this season is gonna be absolutely nuts. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for staying till the end. If you liked what you've seen today, please drop a like down below on the video. If you've really liked what you've seen today, please don't hesitate to subscribe. Don't forget to ding that bell to have all your F1 2019 and Dirt 4 needs met. And if you've really loved what you've seen today, please share this video with your friends. I will give you a shout out in a future video because I can see who shares the videos. You guys are awesome. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all for the next video. Cheers!